Welcome, my dear students, to this lesson. Here we are going to talk about present perfect. Before we start talking about present perfect, we need to talk about the verbs. We have to know that we have two types of verbs. We have regular verbs and irregular verbs. As you can see, my students, here we have some examples of regular verbs. Regular verbs that end with ed or d in the past and past participle. And you have to focus on past participle because you are going to use past participle in present perfect. And here, my students, we have some examples of irregular verbs. And you have to know that there is no rule for forming irregular verbs because the verb just change in the past and past participle, and you have to memorize them. So, my students, what is present perfect? Present perfect is used to talk about actions happened in the past, but they are related to present some way, somehow. And we have to know here, and we will discover what is the relation or what are the occasions that we use a present perfect in. Here we have the rule of a present perfect. So we have the subject, have or has, depending on the subject, and past participle. If we have plural subjects like I, we, you, they, or plural nouns, we will use have plus past participle. But if we have singular subjects such as she, he, it, or singular noun like girl, so we use has plus past participle. We will list now some cases that we use present perfect in. The first one is when we talk about life experience. As the example we have here, I have eaten sushi before. We use the present perfect to talk about accomplishments. Like the example we have here, he has written 5 books. And as you know, the subject is he. That's why we use has plus past participle written. A present perfect used to talk about a change over time. As we can see in the example, they have become more interested in technology. And you can see that the subject we have they. That's why we have plus past participle. So we use the present perfect to talk about repeated action in the past. Any action happened in the past more than one time that can be used with the present perfect. As we can see here, we have visited India 5 times. That's why we use present perfect. We visited India in the past, but because it is repeated action, we use present perfect. Present perfect used with unfinished action. Action that happened or started in the past, but it hasn't finished yet. She has started her exam. She started her exam maybe 2 weeks. Last week, we do not know in the past. But till now, she hasn't finished the exams. That's why we use present perfect because she still has maybe many exams to do. Present perfect also used with recent finished action. The action just has finished recently, like you have just finished your project. Present perfect also used to talk about finished actions in the past, but those actions have results now. Let us look at this example. It has broken its leg. This action happened in the past, maybe yesterday, maybe last week, even last month. We do not know. But the result now that the cat or that animal cannot walk now. Now, my students, let us look at the negative. How can we form negative of a present perfect? As you can see, my students, we add not to the helping verb have or has. Haven't, hasn't, is to make the present perfect negative. Like we have in the example, I haven't eaten sushi, and she hasn't done her homework. How can we form present perfect questions? We started with have or has, the helping verbs plus past subject plus past participle. Look at the example. Has he cleaned his room yet? Have you ever eaten sushi? As you notice, my students, we use yet and ever in present perfect questions. My students, you have to know that there are some words are used with present perfect. As you can see here, also my students, we have signal words for present perfect negative and questions. For example, we use never in present to refer to negative, a present perfect negative. I have never been to Korea. And we use yet with negative and question. As the examples here, she hasn't taken her medicine yet. Make sure that yet come at the end of the sentence. And also it comes at the end of the question. Has she taken her medicine yet? Now, my dear students, we have reached the end of our lesson. I hope a present perfect becomes more clear for you. This lesson was prepared and presented by Hubayna Al Maqbali. See you soon.